Hi, everybody. We're back. We're back for a quick power hour. All right. We have to give you all the updates on the Adelson trial. It's starting on Tuesday. It's about to go down. We have some latest news as of today. What Wendi is up to. Donna got moved from the jail. They done shipped her off. They're getting ready to try this case. So Tuesday, we have jury selection. And as I was doing some research for you guys, I see some upcoming issues that could happen with jury selection. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then at the end of the stream, we're likely going to check out some legacy footage because there is one witness that is so important in this upcoming case and nobody's paying attention to him. Do me a favor, guys. We need to reset the algorithm. It's been a while since we streamed. So on your way in, do me a favor, hit the like button so this gets pushed out to more people. It's going to be a quick stream, but I want to make sure that you guys have all the information you need on this case before we get started with opening arguments next week. Who do we have in the building so far? Hi, Nancy. Good to see you. She says happy Friday. Miss D is in the building as well. How are you, Miss D? Long time no see, love. Loyalty is in here as well. TSOJ, of course, good to see you. We have Peyton Sound as well, and all the other folks popping on in. Without further delay, guys, we're going to get started. 2 quick channel announcements. I'm taking down all the Karen Reed merch because you guys know with every trial that we cover on this channel, there is a new collection of merch that comes with it. So we've got some Adelson stuff. Some of it is funny. Some of it is stuff that you guys come up with. So I cannot wait to be able to jump on into our new merch collection. If you're a member and sometimes you get gifted a memberships, those do, I think after 30 days, they do lapse. We haven't streamed in a while. It's been more than 30 days. So you're going to want to check on your membership as well because there's a lot of upcoming perks for this next trial. So super, super excited about that. And then I figured out how to use TikTok. So we are at AV7 Legal. And in the morning, whenever you need some quick little tidbits, I will be there posting some different things. So I think we did a video on Melly, right? Because Melly had his case moved out until 2027 because of an appeal. Why did that appeal get denied? I just wasted everybody's time. Why did that appeal get denied? Insane. So that was one of our first TikTok videos. I think it was yesterday or the day before. So check it out. And we put it here on YouTube as well under YouTube Shorts. Good to see everybody. Krista's in here, 773 Pisces. She says hello to the Chatterhood. Look at who we got. First super chat of the day. Shout out to our favorite 3L, Miss Kelly Kell, who's out there in New York doing her thing as a newly minted summer associate, right? She's gonna be a great attorney, guys. Kelly Kell was instrumental when we covered the Karen Reed case. There was so much I did not know about the case, but it was great to see it from a fresh set of eyes. And Kelly Kell helped me behind the scenes with all the research. She's amazing. So thank you, Kelly Kell. And we are looking forward to your 3L year. She drops a $50 super chat and says, "Oh my gosh, babe, the face I made. Come here more often, please." Yes. I mean, we have a lot to cover, guys. My team has been busy. We've been like a busy beehive. We're going to be like destroying the algorithm the next few days with Donna Adelson coverage. And again, we're just excited to come back to the family and watch a new trial together. This one, I think we're going to go into mid-September. So we have a good month together on this particular case. So thank you, Kelly Kell, for the first super chat of the day. All right, team, let us jump on in with the first headline. I hope you're ready because Donna has now... she is now being shipped from different jails and she has been moved. All right. So that's the first headline that we have. This is as of 15 hours ago. So this is posted in Tallahassee. Donna is now in the Leon County Jail ahead of her trial next week. She had previously been moved to another jail, but records show she was booked into Leon County on Thursday. All right. So that is yesterday. Adelson is charged with the 2014 murder for hire of Dan Markell, her former son-in-law and FSU law professor. 4 others, including Charlie, have been convicted in connection with Markell's death and are serving prison sentence. Sentences. Jury selection for Donna Adelson's trial begins next week. We also learned that Wendi, Markel's ex-wife, is asking a judge to quash the defense's plans for her to testify. That is the other headline. If you don't know, so Wendi Adelson was married to Dan Markel. They had 2 kids, and this murder for hire plot happened because the grandma, the Queen Pin grandma, wanted those kids moved from Tallahassee to Miami so she could spend more time with them. The issue is that's a 7-hour drive. So allegedly, this family worked together to get Dan Markel killed. It's crazy. It's a crazy case. So the fact that Wendi doesn't want to testify, and you have to remember there were 3 trials so far. You had Katie McBonowa, you had Sigfredo and Luis, right, which are the 2 hitmen. Katie dated Charlie, and she was, she set the whole thing up, right? So Katie doesn't give a damn. All of them are testifying. We have the witness list, both from the defense and the prosecution side, and they are on the witness list. Wendi is too. But here we go, like on the week right before trial, and guess who all of a sudden does not want to testify? Wendi. Wendi, like she's trying to get out of it. I cannot believe that she is trying to get out of it. But that is what the top headline of the day is. But I like how they snuck this in as well, because that's going to be an interesting filing once we pull it up. The filing notes that a different judge granted a similar request in 2022 for Catherine McBanowa's trial, but the defense was still able to cross-examine her that year. So she's still trying to get out of it. The motion filed Wednesday lays out that the defense cannot provide her immunity for her testimony, but the state can. So Georgia can. It also says that Wendi Adelson would like to provide a statement through her attorney instead. If she is forced to testify, the filing says that she plans to invoke her Fifth Amendment rights. Chat, it's about to go down next week. Wendi is trying to get out of testifying. And if she testifies, she's going to plead the Fifth. This is going to be an interesting trial, guys. Interesting trial. Marcus says, no, Wendi wanted to leave Tallahassee. The case is about Wendi and what Wendi did. Yeah, she's trying to get out of testifying. It's going to be crazy. Court TV also posted something 35 minutes ago on the same exact topic. Let's see what they say here. And there's been a lot of fake news with this stuff. I think they were saying that Wendi or Donna was going to take a plea deal. That ended up not being factual information. So I take Court TV's information with a grain of salt. But check this out. It says Wendi Adelson fights defense subpoena for mom's murder trial. Days before the Donna Adelson trial starts for masterminding the murder for hire of her former son-in-law, her daughter is fighting to quash a subpoena from the defense team. Donna's daughter, Wendi, was in a contentious custody battle with her ex-husband, Dan Markel, when he was gunned down in his driveway in 2014. While Wendi has never been charged, she has been brought in to testify at the trials for 2 other defendants who have been convicted in the case, including her brother, Charlie. At each trial, Wendi has testified under an agreement with prosecutors that offered her use and derivative use immunity. All right. That means anything she says in court or evidence found as a result can be used against her for any future proceeding. The immunity agreement prevents Wendi from claiming her Fifth Amendment right to self-incriminate, but that same protection does not extend to the subpoena from the defense. Because the immunity only applies when prosecutors call her on the stand, Wendi has filed a motion asking Judge Everett to quash the subpoena. Wendi was previously successful in quashing a subpoena during the defendant Catherine McBanowa's trial. And here's the other thing. During Kathy's trial, or Katie's trial, there was a different judge. So Judge Everett just started presiding over the more recent cases, but he was not the original judge, right? While Donna wants her daughter to testify at her trial, she has asked the judge to suppress statements from a fellow inmate who said Donna referred to her as her jail daughter. What? Donna has jail daughters? What is this? Donna's defense motion to suppress says fellow inmate Drina has been working with investigators and feeding them information she's learned behind bars. But the motion says that because Drina doesn't just listen, but actively ask questions, she was acting as an agent of the state, and thus her statements should be inadmissible. The motion alleges a third inmate, Mickey, told law enforcement that Drina questioned and manipulated Donna and said it was very obvious that she's trying to get information out of Donna. Jury selection starts next week. Guys, what do you think of that so far? This case is, we're a few days out and we've already got some tea brewing. Some tea is already brewing. Very, very interesting. All right, I did want to show you guys something else. Let's talk about jury selection. Now, of course, Charlie is doing life in jail. Now, the thing is with Charlie, he's been behind bars for some time. He got convicted, I think it was tail end of 2023. So he filed an appeal. I was curious, so I took a look at the appeals document. And of course, one of the first things that Charlie is complaining about, one of the number one things he's complaining about for his trial and why there were all of these errors is jury selection. So I thought it would be fascinating to see what Charlie's argument was, because ultimately he was convicted. I don't even think that the appeal is moving through the system like that, but it's been entered. He definitely filed one. But I want to take a look at what he complained about with jury selection. Because if you remember, at the start of the year, Donna did not want this trial to take place in Leon County. Because, obviously people have been following the case and locals have been following this string of cases for years, almost a decade, right? Dan Markell passed away in 2014. So it's 11 years later. Are you going to be able to find a fair and impartial jury? So some of these statements on here are really fascinating. So real quick, before I jump in, I just want to say hi to a few people. Shout out to Taz, who's in the chat. Shout out to Emmy. Emmy is here as well. MJ, I love that. I love how you spell that. Jess, one of our fan favorites, is back as well. And then shout out to D. I'm just going to grab this $5 super chat. It says, investigate your fiance's family. They might be psycho. I mean, D. Yes. Here, we're learning a lot of things about Donna. So I think that is absolutely right. Like, if you're in a new relationship, take a look at the family, check them out, scope them out. Like, is your mom crazy? Is your father crazy? Are y'all going to keep, like, if we get into a custody battle, are y'all going to try to off me? Whatever it is. But thank you, D, for the super chat. All right, let's take a look at this, because it definitely gives you line of sight for all of this, right? So they go into this big drawn out thing as far as what the trial court is supposed to do. And remember, Judge Everett presided over this. So Charlie is already having an issue with jury selection, or had an issue with jury selection. It states as follows, and I'm just going to zoom in so y'all can follow this with me. So Charlie says, during jury selection, in appellate Adelson's case, the trial court interviewed 130 potential jurors one-on-one to assess their knowledge and opinions about the case. Of those interviews, 96 had heard about the case. And of those who heard about the case, 54 had formed an opinion about that. So let's pause there for a second, because if you think about this round, they talked about it during last week's hearing. We watched the hearing last Friday. They're going to have a pool of 300 jury members. So as you can see, Donna's pool is bigger than Charlie's, right? Now, let's see if what she was saying is going to happen. I mean, it's been 11 years. And if people have roots in these communities, if they're homeowners, if they have lived there for a long time, ain't no way they have not heard about this case. They've heard about it. Right? Have they formed an opinion, especially since Charlie has been convicted, is my question, right? Since her son got convicted, what happens when it comes to people forming opinions about her? The other thing, Donna tried to flee the country, okay? She went to Vietnam literally a few days after Charlie was sentenced and sent to jail to start serving his life sentence, right? It was a one-way ticket. She says it was a vacation. Were you coming back, Donna? Because of the extradition laws and all those things, were you planning on coming back, Donna? That's the ultimate question, right? So I thought it was cool to look at the differences in the upcoming jury selection pool and the existing one. So we see that Charlie had a smaller pool. Donna's is bigger. Now they only anticipate next week to starting on the 19th for it to only take 2 days. So if we start on Tuesday, they're going to start their interviews. They're going to select the jury pool. Georgia, this is her 4th bite at the apple. So I'm pretty sure this prosecutor is ready to go, right? They want to start opening arguments on Thursday, the 22nd. Okay, so all of you guys, mark your calendars. We've already got our thumbnails ready. We're ready to go. We're going to start scheduling those court days next week. So Thursday is likely opening arguments. However, the defense wants more time. They were pushing for Friday. So just make sure that your notifications are on right now. 136 of you guys watching, just do me a favor and look. If you're watching from a phone, just hit the subscribe button again. And I don't know why YouTube defaults this. It does it for almost every channel. Your notification should say customized. Just change it to all so you don't miss a moment of the trial. I'm happy to see you too, Judy. A vampire in the radio says, Wendi will testify, but for the prosecution, she has to because she has been given limited immunity. What she wants to avoid is direct examination. Oh, I see what you're saying here. Defense can only cross her. I see what you're saying. Thank you, Vampire in the Radio. That's actually a really great point. Ryan is in here as well. Good to see you, DW. And MJ loves Georgia. I do too. She's funny. That's actually the next video I'm making for you guys over the weekend is round 3 of Wendi in Georgia. We did round 1, round 2. Round 2 was actually with the Boston lawyer. That was a fiery cross. I encourage you to check it out if you have not done it so far. Shout out to Dennis. Dennis, I think, is new to the community. Good to see you. Mr. No Name, good to see you too. And Satellite Man says Georgia is the best. I agree. No, she's fantastic. She's fantastic. All right, so let's go back to this document where we see a little bit more of Charlie's argument when it came to jury selection, because they have some direct quotes from the jurors as well that he had a problem with. So of those who had formed an opinion about the case, 53 believed that Charlie was guilty. In other words, only one single potential juror who had an opinion about Charlie's guilt believed he was not guilty or could have been wrongfully charged. Damn. Wow, Charlie, those are not good odds at all. But at the same time, when it comes to jury selection, your attorney's in the room. Make it make sense. Your attorney's in the room. During the potential juror interviews, the jurors stated that the sources of their knowledge about the case included the Tallahassee Democrat, it's a popular news site, local news broadcasts, cable news specials like 2020 and Dateline, court TV broadcasts, CNN, podcasts, YouTube, shout out to us, radio, social media, documentaries, neighbors, friends, parents, co-workers, and some who stated that they had watched the co-conspirators trials. Several jurors explained the notoriety of the case. Here's a quote. I've been around long enough in town to know it. I told you guys. Another colorfully put it, it's a tragedy. It's been over this community as long as it has. I mean, you'd have to live under a rock not to know about it. I don't really know more than the average citizen, just what you hear, you know? But like I said, I know it's been ongoing for quite a while. It's just a tragedy that's taking this long to find peace for the family. Yeah, I mean, it's been 11 years and, you know, poor Dan and his family are still going through it. And they're from Canada. So it's like all this traveling for all these cases. It's been a long haul. Next, it says, yet another expressed that she consumed media about the case. Every chance I got, really. That's the quote. And that the impact it had on her is that it sticks in your mind. Juror after juror confirmed that the media they consumed had taken the position that appellant Adelson, Charlie, is guilty or was involved somehow in the murder. Most troubling, however, is the fact that all the jurors who had already formed an opinion about Charlie's guilt or innocence, totaling over 50, all but one of them held the view that he is guilty. All right, so this looks like a back and forth here. So the judge says, based off the information that you know, have you formed an opinion concerning Charlie's guilt or innocence? Prospective juror says, somewhat, probably, yeah, more of bias. The judge says, what is that opinion? Probably he's guilty. Mr. Dobin, defense counsel, this was Charlie's lawyer. And what is that opinion? I think he's guilty. The judge, based on what you do know about this matter, have you formed an opinion as of the guilt or innocence of Mr. Adelson? Another prospective juror. Well, I was kind of shocked to learn that this trial is still going on because, based on everything I read, I kind of thought he was guilty and it was already done. Or at least assuming this is who I think it is, the brother of the wife. The judge, but you believe he is guilty in some manner? The juror. Well, I thought he had already been convicted. So, I guess my mind already thinks that. The judge, are you able to set aside any knowledge that you've previously learned about this matter and disregard it and render a verdict solely on what will be presented in court as evidence? Prospective juror. It may be difficult just because of, how much this has come up over the last several years. I like to think I could, but honestly, we have stuff in the back of our mind. So I'm just reading all of this, guys, because here's what's going to happen. If all of these people had formed opinions about Charlie, I'm pretty sure they've got some opinions about Donna. They have to have opinions about Donna. And most of the recent news with Donna, like trying to flee and go to Vietnam and the wiretaps that came out and the other trials, it's really hard to not have seen it, especially in Leon County. So this is going to be interesting. Good to see you, Lonnie. Dennis says, I'm a Boston guy. The lawyer for Boston went off on Wendi from the jump. That was crazy. It totally was. Michael Love, good to see you, Michael. He says, good morning, AV and everybody in Chatterhood. Yeah, let's go back in and see what some of the other jurors are saying, because this was fascinating. I was reading this and it was riveting. It was so riveting. Okay, the judge says, I understand, but what you're telling me is as just conversation speech, but it is somewhat equivocal. I'm going to need a more specific answer. Are you capable of disregarding this information and rendering a verdict only on what you hear as evidence in the courtroom? This juror was honest. It was like, no, that would be difficult. And then the defense attorney says, well, I'm asking you. This prospective juror says, yeah, this has been going on for so long. Honestly, we all have opinions on it. Defense attorney says, yeah, prospective juror, and being a local, we do. So we kind of formulate opinions, but at the same time, I understand that this is very serious. So if there's actually evidence that shows this could not have happened, I'd be open to that. Defense attorney, you'd be open to that? Prospective juror, yeah. Defense attorney, but your current position is that you think he's guilty. Prospective juror, yeah, and I only know what's in the newspaper. I don't know if that's right or correct or not. That's a good answer. The court, very well. Based on your knowledge of this matter, have you formed an opinion as to Mr. Adelson's guilt or innocence? It looks like this is another one. I think he has a fair amount of significant implication on this. Is he guilty? I cannot say. That would be my learning. I can say that. All right. So if you look at these numbers on the right-hand side of the screen, left-hand side of the screen, these are all different jury members, right? So that one right there was an interaction. So the judge asked a prospective juror some questions, things of the like. Here's another one. The defense attorney says, I'm asking you, is it fair to say that your starting point is that he's probably guilty? Prospective juror, that would be my starting point, yes. So these are all quotes. You're seeing all of that. But I just wanted to show this to you guys because next week might be longer than we think. But at the same time, Donna's pool is bigger. They were able to get through jury selection a lot faster for Charlie's case, but this one's going to be interesting. Let me make sure I catch most of you guys. Shout out to Lee. Haven't seen you in forever, Lee. Says, hi, AV, turned in late. I'm going back to the start. Okay, enjoy. You'll love it. And then shout out to brother Erwin. E. Capone, you've changed your name like 16 times. He's been with me for 17 months. Says, AV, what it do? Good to see you, brother. Hope you are having a great day in sunny California. Sire's in here as well. Good to see all my regulars. All right, guys, so let's do what we normally do, is watching trial footage. We are working on a few other videos as well. So Jeff Lacoste is another one on the docket, but I want to watch one of the rounds with Jeff with you. So we're going to do that right now, right? So Jeff dated Wendi. They dated for quite some time. And Wendi and Charlie tried to set Jeff up for this crime. I mean, they tried to pin it on Jeff, poor guy. And then, you know, he was super cooperative. We have police interrogation footage of Jeff. We had him testify in almost all of the trials. He seems like a good, articulate guy. So what we're going to do for the next 20, 25 minutes, because, you know, this is just a quick power hour stream, and then our team is going to get back to editing. We're going to watch it together and see how Jeff did in Charlie's trial. So this is the most recent one. So, you know, it's interesting because he seems super articulate, good witness, in my opinion. I can't wait to see him on the stand. I do believe he's going to be one of the most important witnesses in this trial. There's a few of them. You know, Katie's testimony is always important because Katie technically set the whole thing up, but she doesn't give a damn anymore. She got convicted. She does not care anymore. She's going to do what she does to make sure that she at least gets her truth out. So that's going to be interesting. But I do think that Jeff is going to be another big one as well. Those are the most important people in this upcoming trial. So let's check out Jeff here and go from there.
2014. This is going to be the Sunday before the homicide that we're here about. Did you see Wendi Adelson that evening at her residence here in Tallahassee?
Yes, after we returned from dinner and a movie, we went back to her residence. Yes, ma'am.
All right. And at some point that evening, did the issue of the relocation battle that was going on back in the summer of 2013 come up?
It did.
And is that the issue we've already touched on, which has to do with her wanting to move to South Florida with the children and filing a petition to do so in the courts?
That's right. And by extension, the issue of being stuck in Tallahassee.
Okay. And while discussing that issue, did Ms. Adelson make some statements to you about her brother, Charlie?
She did.
And what were those statements?
She asked to speak to me confidentially in a very serious tone of voice, told me that Charlie had investigated all possible options to take care of the problem of Danny Markell, including hiring a hitman, which would cost about $15,000. And I later revised that and thought maybe it was $50,000, but the dollar amount was the only thing in question. She definitely said that Charles Adelson had looked into hiring a hitman to kill Danny Markell.
Wow. When did she say Mr. Adelson had looked into hiring a hitman?
When the relocation was denied the previous summer.
Okay. All right. And the dollar amount, so she either said 15 or 50, you're not sure which?
That's correct.
Okay. And when she said this, what was her demeanor like?
She's very serious.
All right. So definitely not the to be confused with the TV joke? No,
I'd heard that joke repeatedly. I knew that joke. This was something very different. This was chilling, a little scary, made my stomach flip. I found it disturbing. The joke was said in a lighthearted manner, and this was not said in that way. This was serious and said confidentially.
All right,
wow.
Thank you. And I want to, okay, I think we should go from there to the next day, which is going to be July 14th, 2014, the Monday before the murder.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you see Wendi Adelson on that day?
Yeah, I can't remember if I contacted her, if she contacted me, but she was excited to see me. And I wasn't so sure about that because the night before we had an awkward conversation at the conclusion of that night. And I had told her that she didn't want to do this anymore, but she could just send me a text and I wouldn't, take any offense. We would just, break up. So I didn't get that text. Instead, I talked to Wendi Adelson and she was excited to see me.
All right. So what did you do?
Well, then she needed to call me back, and it went from her enthusiasm about seeing me to let's just meet at yoga tonight, go in separate cars. So there was a real shift in about 30 minutes.
Did you go to yoga?
We did. We went to yoga.
Right. And after yoga, was there a discussion about your relationship and the status of your relationship?
Yeah, a very brief one. I mean, yoga is not a great place to talk, obviously. So while we were sitting there, she seemed very cold, and I kind of got the feeling that it was over, that this was it. So as we walked to the car, I tried to talk to her about the relationship, and that didn't go well. And so I just kind of put up my hands and walked away, feeling sad that this was it.
All right. And as you walked away, was that the end, or was there more conversation after you began to walk
No,
away?
she called out to me, and I walked back towards her. And she was deeply curious. Well, let me back up slightly. During that conversation, she didn't have any interest in spending any time with me for the rest of the week. So it kind of confirmed, like, this is over.
Mm-hmm.
But then when she called me back, she had a series of detailed questions about what I would be doing on Friday.
And Friday is going to be July 18th, right?
Yes,
And that's the date of the homicide?
that's exactly right.
What were her inquiries of you regarding that date?
I had a trip planned to Tennessee. She was aware that I was planning to leave about 11 a.m. On Friday. I need to get to Atlanta for an early dinner, so with traffic, she knew I was departing at 11. And at the yoga studio in the parking lot, she had asked if I was still going. If I didn't go, why not? What route I would be taking.
Those are crazy questions.
Bizarre amount of interest in that trip that didn't make sense to me at the time, given that.
That is weird for Wendi to want to know what route he was taking. It's like, ma'am, you're clearly trying to set him up, and he had a feeling.
She didn't want to spend time with me.
And how does it make sense to you now?
Well, if I had left on my trip at the scheduled time that she had known about for quite a while, I would have driven pretty close to Danny Markel's house about the same time as at the murder in a similar looking car to the suspect vehicle.
What type of vehicle did you drive?
I drove a 2004 Nissan Sentra that was silver metallic gray color.
So if you had followed your original plans, you would have been passing by the Markel residence or nearby there around the same time as
There he
the killers were
is.
fleeing.
Yeah, I would have been at Capitol Circle in Thomasville. Sure, I would have been on the same cell tower, for example. I think my life could have been pretty complicated had I taken my original plans.
All right. So you didn't, I guess, take the original plans.
No, I did not. I had made a last minute decision the night before to leave Thursday night instead. I had not informed Ms. Adelson about that because we weren't speaking. Actually, no, I don't know that anyone, for sure that anyone in Tallahassee knew I had changed my plans, just the people at the other end.
All right. So you were actually in Tennessee at the time of the homicide.
I was.
And when we've heard you were called in as a potential suspect and apparently named by a Jane McPherson. Do you know who that is?
I do.
Okay, who is that?
That was a friend of Wendi Adelson's, and she was a doctoral student in our program. I had not much of a relationship with her, just a kind of a working relationship. We'd worked on a couple of projects together, but I didn't know her very well at all.
But someone that knew that you had been dating Wendi.
Yeah, I think she was a confidant of Wendi Adelson's. Yes, for sure.
Okay. So you get called in, and were you able to provide documentation to show that you were in Tennessee and not in Tallahassee?
Yeah, I was excluded fairly quickly because investigators found Kmart surveillance footage of me at a Kmart in Tennessee using my credit
Oh
card
my
and my cell phone
God.
showing me there.
Do Kmarts still exist, guys? Are there still Kmarts? What happened at Kmart? Did they go out of business?
Shortly after the murder, so it was impossible that I was the shooter.
All right. And then was there also some similar type coincidences around the time of the trip that the killers made in June?
Yes. On June 6th, I had a business trip to Gainesville, and I departed at 11 a.m. on a Friday, June 6th, which Ms. Adelson would have known about by March. So really, I take 2 trips out of Tallahassee in my car the whole spring and summer semester. And both times, hit and try to kill Danny Markel.
Okay. Any further contact with Wendi after the yoga date?
We about 10 days after the murder, she reached out to a mutual friend, and we had a few phone calls.
And during one of those phone calls, did you learn about a dinner where Wendi had become ill at the table?
Yes, I did learn about that.
And what did you learn about that dinner?
That she went out to dinner with Charlie for what he called a celebration dinner. He said something to her. She spontaneously vomited on the table.
And this would have been within how much time after the homicide?
Within a few weeks.
Was it specified that the celebration was in reference to Dan Markel's death as opposed to anything else?
Wasn't specified.
But whatever it was, that's the dinner where she vomited.
That's right. That's right.
1 moment, please. No further questions.
Super easy, super simple. Here comes Charlie's defense.
Let's shift gears a teeny bit.
Okay.
When you and Miss Adelson were dating, there were occasions when she would drive, right?
Yes.
Did she have a good sense of direction?
I don't know.
You're aware that when she was married to, she lived in Professor Markell, she lived on the house on Trescott, right?
Yes.
And when you were dating Wendi, would she often use Trescott as a shortcut to get from one place to another?
She used it a few times when I was in the car, if that's what you're asking. She did that on June 27th, the day we departed to Gainesville at 11 a.m. on a Friday.
I think you said in one of your interviews that she would do that at least 100 times, drive by the house.
That was a figure of speech.
Now, you mentioned, we'll start with the joke, the bad joke.
Yes.
You mentioned this TV joke, how it was lighthearted, bad humor, certainly in the context of what happened, but it was a joke.
Yeah, it was dark humor, I would say, but it was clearly a joke. Yes.
And do you recall that joke being given at that Yardbird dinner?
I don't.
Could it have been given at that Yardbird dinner?
It could have, but I don't recall it. And I actually think I might remember that,
I'm sure you do.
given what happened.
Oh, oh, little jab there. Okay. All right, Jeff. I like the spice. Look at that.
I think one thing that has been established is you believe that Wendi Adelson tried to frame you for Professor Markell's murder, right?
I'm suspicious that there was an effort made in that way, yes.
And so that has affected your viewpoint, correct?
Sure.
Well, let's talk about your viewpoint. And we have to go a little bit back and repeat a couple things to put it in context. So you meet with Charlie Adelson. He tells you that he's in the he's friends with people in the criminal element. You say thanks for a great meeting, correct?
What?
Send him a nice text.
The next day I sent him a text, yes.
You don't go to the police.
No, I don't go to the police.
Okay. You then hear that Charlie's made a joke many times about this TV being cheaper than hiring a hitman.
Heard the joke twice.
Okay. You don't go to the police.
No.
Then in June, at a time when Wendi Adelson is breaking up with you, she sits you down and she says, I have to confide the biggest secret in my life. That a year ago, my brother actually looked into hiring a hitman. That's your testimony here today, right?
You said in June, sir?
In June? I'm sorry, in July.
Okay.
In July.
Can you restate that? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'll do it again.
Sorry.
I'll try to keep it lower this time. In July of 2014,
Yes.
about a week before the murder, when you're breaking up with Wendi Adelson, or things are seriously not good, she sits you down and she says, Jeffrey, I've got to confide in you. My brother actually looked into hiring a hitman. That's your testimony here today.
No, she didn't sit me down. She said it in passing, and she had a habit of blurting out things that weren't in her own self-interest. But she did do that. She did make that statement. Yes, sir.
And it was chilling to you.
It was.
Unlike the joke, you thought it was real.
Oh,
It was real,
God.
yes.
Did you go to the police?
I did not.
I knew it.
And then you break up.
Kind of. She strung me along for another week, as you know. Mostly, yeah, but kind of.
Well, the murder happens and you get called in as a suspect of the murder.
Right.
And you're upset at that point.
Yes, I was upset.
And you have a first interview with the police. And then you have a second interview with the police.
Yes.
And during the second interview with the police, you talked solely about Wendi Adelson.
Yeah, I think that's right. I felt like I needed to say they need to look at Wendi Adelson as well. That was the point of that talk. Yes, sir.
That was the point of that talk.
Yes.
And you don't mention actually Charlie Adelson at all in that
Oh,
second
I
interview.
don't think so, so
God.
yes, you're correct.
So that second interview, you talked just about Wendi Adelson.
Do y'all see this? Oh, it wasn't Charlie. It could have been Wendi. It's like there's all this finger pointing. This is interesting to watch in retrospect, especially because we're a few days out of Donna's trial. I bet you there's going to be more finger pointing in that one too. Oh, it wasn't Donna. It was Charlie.
And in fact, you're so uncomfortable in the interview. You tell the police that. You say, I'm so uncomfortable. And Detective Isom asked you why. Do you recall that?
It wasn't a Detective Isom.
Okay, I'm sorry. The detective who was interviewing you asked you why.
I don't, you have to remind me on that.
Well, let me remind you what you
Yeah.
said. You said, because it's hard for me because if she would take me back right now, I would go back to her.
Yeah, I was still under her spell to some degree. I would say I was fairly pathetic at that point. I would acknowledge that. Yeah.
So let me understand this, because I want to make sure I got it right. I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Sure.
Wendi Adelson has told you that her brother looked into hiring a hitman sometime in 2013. He gets murdered.
He does.
You go to an interview, and during that interview, you're still thinking about staying with Wendi Adelson. You don't want to talk badly about her because you still want to be with her.
You're talking about this July 23rd interview specifically?
Yes.
Yeah, it only been a week. It was still pretty fresh. I was still pretty mixed up. That's right.
Okay, well, let's see how mixed up you were after that. So then you're clearly broken up at that point. We can agree, right?
Actually, I would say yes functionally, but I've testified before. The minute
Yes,
Ms. Adelson and I had
functionally.
conversations in August where she behaved as if we were still together, and we had a conversation that finally ended it, initiated by me. Now, practically, we were broken up.
You never dated. You never went on a date with her again, right?
I never saw her again in our
Okay.
courtroom, right?
Fair enough. Fair enough. Then she tells you, according to you, that my client, Charlie Adelson, says that she had a celebration dinner with Charlie, and that the celebration dinner was about the murder of Professor Markell.
I don't recall saying that last part.
But that's how you took it, right?
I worried that was the case. I told the police, and my understanding is Wendi conceded she threw up on her dinner table.
Do you know that the first time you told the police that was in March of 2015?
I do know that.
So what happened in September of 14? What happened in October of 14? What happened in November of 14? What happened in December of 14, January of 15, February of 15? You still didn't think that was important to tell the police?
I'm happy to answer. I think you deserve an explanation on that. You may have noticed in my March 6, 2015 interview, I come in with notes, big pile of notes. Those notes are written in July of August. They're written pretty quick after the murder. I didn't come in right away, partially because I was scared of your client. I was scared of the repercussions if I went on the record further about my suspicion. So I was reluctant to come back in because I was frankly scared.
Oh, I get it. You were scared of him in August of 14, but you weren't scared of him in March of 2015.
Now I decided to man up. Decided it was a homicide and needed to man up. That's a decision I made.
Right. You weren't
Wow.
scared to tell him that my client had actually looked into a hitman a year earlier. That didn't scare you. You could tell him that in July.
No, I was.
Hold on, sir. Let me ask the question.
Fair enough.
In July of 2014, you told police that Charlie Adelson, you heard, actually looked at hiring a hitman. You weren't scared to tell them that.
I asked for police protection. I was scared.
You told them that in July of 2014. Isn't that correct?
Yes, in the same conversation, I said, can I get some assurances? Can I get some protection? I have something I want to tell you. I'm scared to tell you.
But you were too scared to tell them about a celebration dinner comment, and you waited almost half a year to tell them?
Well, I did wait half a year to tell them, but the notes I brought in were written right after that interview. I also wanted to get my thoughts together because I thought this day might come. And I wanted, in those first two interviews, there was a lot going on. It was pretty traumatic. So I wanted to collect my thoughts. So that's what I was doing, in addition to being pretty frightened and having to get over that idea.
Isn't it true that those comments never happened, and you're upset because you believe that this family tried to frame you for murder?
Everything I'm saying is true.
I'm sure it is. May I have a moment, Your Honor?
Move to strike the, I'm sure it is.
I'll withdraw it.
Withdrawn, please disregard them as adjourned.
I have no further comments for this.
You're gonna get
Or
redirect?
questions.
Redirect, examination.
This may seem like a fine point, but I want to make sure it's crystal clear. When Mr. Rashbaum was asking you about the hot tub conversation, Mr. Rashbaum said that his client said that he was friends with people in the criminal element. Is that exactly what was said?
The word I recall is he had connections and friends on both sides of the tracks.
Okay. Connections to,
Criminal.
The criminal
elements. In
element.
particular, there was the Cuban neighborhood comment that I repeated to the TPD later.
gotcha.
Actually, on July 21st, first interview, I mentioned that comment.
Okay. How many pages of notes do you have in reference to this case?
Like right now or over the last 9 years.
I mean, kind of over the last 9 years.
Yeah. I'm a researcher by training. I'm an analytic person by nature. So those 6 months, was pretty obsessive. I was reviewing every text message, every email, writing. I condensed it down. I think if you watch the videotape, you would see me bring in 3, 4, 5 pages. But I would say I wrote probably 100 pages before I came in to see them the third time.
Going through every receipt,
Yes.
every detail,
Yes.
partially out of what motivation?
Well, pretty traumatic. So fear was part of it. Like, if they can catch the people that did this, I'll be safe. That was a big piece of it. Also, this was a brutal murder, and I wanted to see justice done. And I did not want to leave something sitting on the shelf. If I was in the possession of something that could help, I wanted to help.
And isn't it true that you didn't know what was going to end up being important out of all the nuggets you dug out of the phone and everywhere
I
else?
had no idea. And I also told them repeatedly, I hope and pray this wasn't Wendi and Charlie Adelson. But just in case, here's the stuff I have.
And Mr. Rashbaum asked you about why didn't you go to the police when you learned that Mr. Adelson had in fact looked into hiring a hitman? Just to reiterate, the statement was made the Monday before the murder, is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. And that's the statement where Wendy's relating it to you.
Yes.
All right, so that's going to be in 2014.
Yes.
Okay, and she's making a statement about something that occurred in what year?
2013.
All right, why didn't you go to the police with this information?
Because it was a past tense thing she was reporting. I did not sense there was a present danger. I didn't know hitman had already visited Tallahassee. I didn't realize there was an active murder plot.
In hindsight, should you have gone to the police with this information?
Yes.
One moment, please.
I want to ask y'all about
Nothing
that.
else, Your Honor.
So cost and stuff down. Rashbaum, did you have something to do with the
Maybe we could sidebar briefly.
approach?
Yeah, I think they finished with him right then and there. But wow. So thinking about this and what we know about Wendi and what we just saw right there, you can almost anticipate that Donna's defense team is going to do the same thing. When you have multiple trials on one particular issue, I mean, we saw some of it with Karen Reed. It did switch up slightly, because we knew how certain witnesses were going to act on the stand. So the defense team kind of switched it up slightly in their approach. But with this will be Jeff's 4th time testifying. And it is likely that Donna's team is going to harp on the fact that he didn't go to the police. I mean, that was a very quick 20-minute testimony. And like Georgia said, I don't think that this thing is going to go past 2 or 3 weeks. It should be a fairly fast trial. But yeah, how do you guys think that defense attorney did 1 through 5 as far as rating, and 1 being the worst, 5 being the best? Let us know. I mean, some of y'all are like, he was simping hard. Like that's my rating, is simp. Like he was super simping, right? So it is super interesting to see that. But I definitely see some of the repeat habits coming in and out of witness testimony for next week as well. Good to see you, Nurse Janice. It is Nurse Janice. Where have you been? It is good to see you. I am wrapping up, guys. So let me get through some of these super chats. Definitely want to give a huge shout out to E. Capone. He's hitting us with some super chats, but he also sent me a $7 Cash App. Thank you so much, my friend. Really appreciate it. And yeah, we're almost at, I'm waiting for this number. We're almost at 700 or 77,777 subs. If I can get a screenshot of 777, I've always wanted to do that since I started this channel. So we will see if that happens today. It's likely going to be today or tomorrow. Yeah, we're 3 more away. We're 3 more away. I need a screenshot of that. That would be fantastic. If you are not subbed yet and you're watching, can you be one of the lucky, get us to lucky number 7, 7s across the board. And if you're watching this on replay, that would be fantastic as well. Definitely want to do that as a screenshot just because it's part of the name, right? Let us come to some super chats. Shout out to D, hits me with another 2, says the Adelson family name has been ruined. Well, see, that's the thing. Wendi changed her son's last name. Actually, no, she did. She changed it from Markel to Adelson. Maybe they should have just kept it at Markel. I mean, that was wild when she changed their names. A lot of people were like, okay, well, why did you do that? Especially if their father's no longer here. It would have been nice for them to have the legacy going, So really interesting stuff. I never really understood why she or her explanation of that. Like she wanted to keep them safe as she was enrolling them in school, and she didn't want any extra attention on them. We are 1 sub away from the 777s, not 777s, the 5 7s. That would be fantastic. Thank you, D. Really appreciate the super chat. Senator, good to see you. Drops a $5 super chat. Also sent me a candle that needs to be picked up. Thank you so much. I did not pick it up yet, but you know what? Just because you just reminded me, I will pick it up today. And we will likely post that. And thanks again for sending it. Very, very nice of you to do. Shout out to E. Capone with the 5, says Professor AV is back in session. We got it. We got the 7s. Sorry, had to do it. Have to take a picture, guys. This is amazing. Thank you so much to those people that just subscribed. That was really nice of you. But that was one of my YouTube dreams. Thank you so much for y'all making that happen. Really appreciate that. Shout out to D with another 2, says Charlie Tuna looks agitated in court. He does. He looked very agitated in court, but I think he had at one point he had like a really big afro at some point. I've seen some photographs of that. Didn't really look good. I wonder what his appearance is going to be like this time. You know, a lot of these witnesses that are in jail, they do show up in the uniform, right? The jail uniform. So we'll see how that's going to look this time next week. Shout out to Judy. Thank you so much. Richard says, great show. Hopefully you will be on next week for the trial. Yes. Whenever we trial stream, I am here every single day. So we are going to be around next week. As soon as they hit go for opening statements, I will be here from 9 to 5 covering the trial. I'm not sure if they're going to do 9 to 4. During the Karen Reed case, we were not 9 to 4 every single day. You guys know we develop our merch. We have so much fun when we trial stream. I'm looking forward to another trial with you guys. And I wonder if it's going to be the last big one of the year. So should be a good one. Judy says, let's hit 1 million. I know. Big dreams. We're going to do it. Happy Friday, Carrie. Good to see you. Judy says, how is Lead feeling? He's good. I was just texting with him yesterday. I think he went live this week. So go over to his channel, see how he's doing. But he has been working very hard on shorter videos for you guys, but he is back up to live streaming. So really, really proud of him for getting back into the game. Asna says, Wendi Smarts is overrated. She had the right connections with Weinstein, but if she was smart, she would have stayed close to the Markells. She will be convicted due to her average intelligence. I mean, I can't believe she's trying to get out of testifying. She really is trying to get out of testifying. When I read that headline this morning, I was like, you got to be kidding me. I probably should pull that document and we could review it early next week. I will likely try to invite one other legal creator for us to do one more just bring you guys up to speed type of thing, like a panel discussion on what we foresee happening from the legal community with this case. So that should be really cool. So stay tuned for that one as well. Brink says, hey, AV, I love it when you stream. You are awesome. Thank you. Yeah, we haven't been around since the Karen Reed trial. So really, really happy that we are going to continue with our daily live stream. So you guys heard it here first. We will be here live streaming the trial and going from there. Hello, Joanna. Good to see you. She says, beautiful, right? I've always wanted that to happen since I started my channel, and it happened today. So hopefully that brings you guys some good luck into your Friday and into the weekend, right? Dennis says, the vomit story, the feds believe, I doubt they'll prosecute her. You know, let's do a quick poll before I take off, guys. Let's do this. I want to know if you guys, will they try Wendi? Hold up. We have a poll up. There's a poll. Vote it up, guys. You know, there's 170 of you guys here right now. I'm curious what the court of public opinion thinks as far as if they're going to try Wendi. So far, we're at 80% yes. We're moving around. Okay, 75, 70. Looks like it's going to be holding strong around 70 with the votes. Brandy says, a bit off topic, but do you find it strange that Wendi defended trafficking victims and brother loved younger women from marginalized backgrounds? You know, I don't know much about the trafficking victims piece, but the brother did like younger women. I was watching some of the testimony, Brandy. I was like, why is he dating people that are that young and you're in your 40s, dude? And then like all the stuff he was saying about Katie, like, and how she's always broke. Like, I was like, well, dang, didn't you pick her? Weren't you dating her? I don't understand. But thank you so much, Brandy. That was a good question. Angela says, watching with you, Donna is something else. I can't get over her money laundry. I heard about Angela. My aunt was telling me about this case. She has been begging me to cover it, right? And she was bringing me up to speed. She's like, oh yeah, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then she put the money in a washing machine and washed the money. I was like, no, she did not launder it. She literally money laundered. Oh, that's actually the merch. That's one of the first. Donna's something about a washing machine. Donna's laundered dollars. I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna put that up. But that's the first one in our merch store. Angela, thank you so much for that idea. It's gonna be fantastic. It's gonna be fantastic. That's the first piece of our Adelson collection. We're gonna need a Charlie shirt. We're gonna need a Queen Pin Grandma shirt. I still need to figure out how I'm gonna do that. Maybe it's a Queen chest piece because Christmas is coming. Imagine if you got that shirt for your grandma. I'm gonna send one to my grandma, Queen Pin Grandma. It'd be amazing. Okay, I'm looking at our poll. Some of you guys have voted. Will they try Wendi? 62% yes, 38% conservative ones are saying no. It looks like it's going to be a 60-40 split. So you guys are doing well. You guys are doing well. Good to see you too. Devin says good to see you, AV. Of course, I'm happy for us to get back into streaming. So it's going to be fantastic. Devin also says, I wonder what else the prosecutors know that we don't, what other evidence they need to arrest Wendi. Yes. So we did a deep dive video. I think it'll probably go out tomorrow, but we did a witness list to watch, and we actually did a deep dive on the Wendi portion specifically. So I can't wait for you guys to check that out. Judy says, what about dad? Was he involved? That's the other rumor on the legal streets is, are they going to come after the father? Right? We don't know, because he was with Donna. You know, they were at the airport together going to Vietnam. Did he have anything to do with it? Remember, these checks were coming from the foundation and being signed by the, by Donna, but I think it came from their joint business, like their foundation. Right? People were being paid. There were some checks that were signed that Donna signed, but at the same time, is it complacency or conspiracy? Is there something that the father had to do with there? They did have a joint email address. I thought that was funny. How do you have one email address that both of you are using? Right? It's very old school, but it's possible. It's possible. Did he not know anything at all? So interesting. Yep. Poor Harvey is clueless. MJ says, would love to know who does your merch. I do. I design it. We get it up. I mean, we have a really good relationship with the vendor that manages our merch store. So I'm really excited about that. And I'm really thrilled because people loved our Karen Reed merch. Like, they loved it. I do have to discontinue it though and take it down. People loved it. So I'm happy. I think we gave away total something like 600 shirts during, our trial stream of the Karen Reed case. So that was a lot. A lot of you guys supported. We sent the proceeds from that merch store to Karen Reed's defense fund. So that was really nice. Happy that we sent that out. Shout out to look, we have Mr. Kelly Kell gifting out memberships. And yes, guys, we are also changing our membership process. We want to give you guys more members only perks. So those are coming, whether that means a case file where we do the legal research and you get a chance to take a look at what's in the case file, like any legal documents, any evidence that we see from the trial, things like that. I know that there was one that I was using for the Karen Reed trial, and you guys loved that I had that handy. So during our breaks, we would be able to go and look at the evidence ourselves, look at some of the photos from the crime scene, look at some of the clothing. Y'all remember the sock that went missing, sock gate, the sneaker. We were able to look at all of that stuff during the lunch breaks. So it was really fun. But thank you so much, Kelly Kell, for gifting memberships. And for those that need to renew your memberships, make sure that you do that, because we're going to definitely be doing more perks. We have been thinking about making the t-shirt giveaways members only. So we're thinking about those little things. So just make sure that you renew if you have not already. Michael Love received a membership from Kelly Kell. Clarissa got one. Dragonfly got one. Brink got one. And Tawana received one. Thank you, Kelly Kell. It's very sweet of you. She's like our stream sponsor today. Anywho, it has been just about an hour. Make sure that you follow us on TikTok as well at AV7Legal. I'm going to be putting some short little things up. This weekend is Adelson weekend, so you're going to see a lot of videos from us. Some of the other things that I haven't seen, we're doing the last round with Georgia and Wendi. So that video is coming out. Our top 10 list for the witnesses to watch is tomorrow. We did a Drake video that needs to go out as well. And then our update on Melly. So there is a ton of content coming. Make sure that your notifications are on, guys, so that way you see everything and you don't miss a beat. All right, folks, I am going to head out. Stay safe out there. See you in the next one. Bye.